Cool. I think I'm live. Hey guys, this is Amanda Kelly with this art called Life. So this is day 3 of my Let There Be Light series. If you're just tuning in for the first time, the other day, December 1st, I spontaneously had this idea to go live and share thoughts on the light versus the dark every day through December 21st, because we are going through a very pivotal moment in human history, and we're kind of in a battle between the light and the dark right now. And right now there is a lot of light coming in, and it's shedding light onto the darkness, into the shadows. So it's actually a really difficult, challenging time. As 2020, no surprise there, people have been facing a lot of challenge right now. So I wanted to ground down these ideas of the light and the dark and speak into them a little bit more thoroughly and completely to help people get clear on what actually is the light. What do we even mean by that? Yesterday's video, I dove into that idea pretty deeply, and today I wanted to talk about truth, because yesterday I started diving in to this idea that the light is truth. So I want to today really dive in deeper, open up that whole can of worms, open up that box. Pandora's box has been opened. So I'm going to dive deeper into this notion of the light is truth, and I kind of added this in the title, that trust and patience and surrender are really key components to opening up to the truth. And yes, I'll just dive into all of it, but I actually did take notes, because I was kind of surprised that this is what I was going to talk about today, but then I was like, okay, of course, yesterday I did dive into that a little bit, so here we are. But when I was like, okay, what am I going to actually say, I wound up taking a bunch of notes, so I am going to be referring to my little notebook here, because I came up with, just things came to me. So, basically, though, truth is your natural state. Let's start there. We are all very grounded down in truth, but we have become disconnected from it throughout our lives, and I'll get into that in a second. But we are truth. Our natural state is truth. And as I was saying yesterday, the light is life. The truth is also life. So these are kind of really esoteric ideas, so I'm going to ground that down a little bit more, but I wanted to start with that, because that's really what this is all coming back to, is that truth is our natural state. So the heart has it holds the highest form of wisdom for us, so it's really coming back into our heart center, and I will also later on get into some kind of practical ways to help reconnect with the truth of who you are, and truth with a capital T. And yeah, so we'll cover all of these ideas, so bear with me. But the heart does hold the highest wisdom that we have for ourselves. So when we talk about trusting our gut, trusting our intuition, that's going down into our lower chakras, and that is really where the work begins. We have to basically tap back in to our intuition, tap back into our gut, and that does take a lot of this shadow work, which in future videos in the next less than 20 days now, but I will be diving into the shadow, but I want to start with the light. So we have to start by reconnecting with our intuition, trusting our gut, so that we can embody this heart-centered wisdom. When we are still grounded down in, or not grounded down, but when we are still holding on to the shadows, holding on to the trauma, the pain, the emotional wounds from the past, it is really basically impossible for us to fully trust ourselves, to fully trust life, to fully tap back into our intuition. So that whole doing that deeper healing is really, really key so that we can reconnect with the truth of who we are, which it basically goes up. If we think about the energy rising, yoga talks about this, but so many different traditions talk about these energy centers, these energy portals, these energy vortexes. They're not just called chakras, but they all, literally every tradition talks about these same centers. So the energy is supposed to rise up. If we have trauma, emotional wounds, so on and so forth, there are gaps that prevent or even blockages that prevent the smooth flow of energy from going up. So we have to first off get back into that deeper healing so that we can trust our gut, so that we can then so we can allow that to rise up and embody the heart wisdom. And then what comes next is speaking our truth. So it all kind of comes full circle. It begins with trust, trusting life, trusting yourself, trusting your intuition, and then it rises up into this deeper knowing, this deeper wisdom of what is right, what is good, what is true, and then we get to the point of speaking your truth, which is about unblocking the throat chakra. So we're not going to dive into all the chakra stuff today, but that whole thing just came to me, so I really wanted to share it because it sounded important. So, thank you for helping me with that one. So, truth. What is truth? So, we, in this current paradigm, in this current reality, in the world that we live in, we talk about, even from this higher level, we're like, oh, that's their truth, that's this person's truth. A lot of people are so ingrained in their truth that they really won't accept that somebody else has a different truth. And what we're talking about then is beliefs. We're talking about beliefs, perspectives on life, and that's what somebody's personal truth is. But I believe that we have to transcend these ideas of personal truths. We can respect that other person has a different belief from us, and that's totally fine because that's part of their journey. We are not here to deny that person their particular path. That's not at all what I'm saying. But I do believe that, I have my truth, but I do believe that there is a higher truth that is above all of our personal beliefs and perspectives and journeys that we are all being led back to on our personal journeys. We all have our particular truths until we open up to see the bigger, grander truth. So again, these are I'm still trying to figure out how to put words on these ideas, so thank you for bearing with me as I talk about this, but because this is the first time I've really spoken into this in this way. So what is truth? It is your truth. It is their truth. That's the 3D version of truth. Okay, so we talk about your truth, my truth, her truth. Actually, a perfect example of this is a divorce situation. There's this idea that, in a divorce, there's his story, there's her story, and the truth lies somewhere in the middle. I think that's true for so many situations in this world. Right now we're very polarized, especially in America. There's the truth for that side, and then there's the truth for that side. And the bigger truth, it's not just in the middle, it's way above all of that. It's way above the chaos and everything. But even within this 3D paradigm, there is a bigger truth that many people are not aware of, and that's why we're kind of experiencing a lot of this chaos. So the truth is coming to light right now, as I was speaking into yesterday, and so we have to kind of shed these layers, shed these shields, and allow that truth to come out, because it's not pretty, a lot of it. Sometimes the truth is not what you want to see. And so, you know, like this is the idea of holding secrets. If there's something that we're ashamed of, there's layers of shame and guilt that we're not capable of handling, we're not ready to deal with. So we keep it down, we repress it. But that's also really counter to our highest good, our most ultimate well-being. We really cannot continue to repress and suppress things. We cannot keep them hidden in the closet. We cannot keep secrets anymore. These secrets are coming to light. The truth must come out in order for us to rise and ascend, which is actually what's happening on the planet. But it's based in our 3D truths, again, are based in beliefs, they're based in perspectives, and what that really means is, you know, your family beliefs, your culture, your religion, your conditioning, your overall conditioning, and most of those beliefs come from the first 7 years of our lives. Wow. That's really what happens though. So we are basically moving through life in a theta state when we're that age, and we're absorbing everything around us. We're not even consciously aware most of the time. I mean, at the age of 7, how aware are you of truth beyond your family and stuff like that? I mean, kids, I think, are very aware, but we don't, and I think that's to our downfall ultimately, because we're not really aware of how much they're aware of. So they're literally absorbing everything that we say. So if we say, you know, money doesn't grow on trees, there we go. They got a lack mindset, and that's really a massive simplification. But you know, I think you catch my drift. Or something is hard, or you are the way you are, or, you know, just all these notions that we kind of just unconsciously spew out. These kids, us, when we were children, and the kids today, they're just absorbing everything around them. And that's how they're programmed. And we are literally programmed by these beliefs and this conditioning. But the truth is that the truth is so much bigger than that. So it's connection, it's oneness. We live in this 3D world of polarity and separation, but the truth is so much more beautiful than that. The truth, and here we go. Go out into nature. Nature is basically the world's cathedral. Like, when you are out in nature, I mean, think about it for yourself, but I know for me, I just feel so connected when I go to the beach, or if I go, you know, hike up a mountain or something like that. I feel so connected. Or even if I'm just lying in the grass, you don't have to go very far to feel connected to nature. Even if you're in a city, you can find a park. Mostly they exist. And that's outside. Anybody can do that right now. Mask or no mask, we can go find pockets of nature wherever we are and just reconnect. Look up at the sky. You don't even have to go to a park for that. You can just walk out your door and just look up. Look up at the stars at night. Look up at the moon. There is just this deeper sense of connection and oneness when we are out in nature. And that is truth. The truth is we are all connected. We are all one. We are all higher consciousness. And again, we're getting back up into these higher falutin ideas. But this is where we're all eventually headed. This is the truth that we're all eventually headed to, in my opinion. But it's opinion that I think is like bigger than me. I'm not alone in this, and I don't know, I feel very connected to that truth. And even if you're not there yet with your personal belief, if you happen to be watching this video and you're like, what? I ultimately believe, even in the midst of doubt, even in the midst of total disbelief in that particular version of reality, I do believe that ultimately, even if it's not in this lifetime, we are all being led to that bigger truth. So, and it's more than a belief for me at this point. And I'll get into that in another video perhaps. But for today, I just want to talk about how we can start to heal that, start to heal the disconnection that we feel, and start to come back to the truth, because the truth lies within. The truth is based in here. It is in our hearts. It is always there with us, no matter how much we are doubting, no matter how much we disbelieve in life and are in a state of disconnection. We have to basically let go and trust and have faith and surrender to the process. And it's not easy, I understand that, but even through our doubt, the truth is always there with us, whether we fully acknowledge or see it or not. And it's there with you every step of the way. So we basically have to heal the untruth of thinking that we were separate, that we were disconnected, that we were isolated or alone. And a lot of this goes back to those childhood emotional wounds. So we have to heal the untruth of thinking that we were unloved. So this does begin by loving yourself. It basically entails a little bit of inner child work, or maybe a lot. So loving that inner child that lies within, and telling that inner child that no matter what happened in the past, the inner child that felt hurt and scared and alone, not seen, not heard, that they are not alone. In fact, you are there with them. You can go back and parent that inner child. You can go back and love that inner child. Just sit in meditation and reconnect with that smaller version of you that still lies within, and hug them and love them, and just send them all the beautiful beams, the heart beams of love and light from you to them. So it's really beaming them back into you. This all just came to me today, so I hope that kind of makes sense, but this is basically where the healing begins. It has to begin with us, and it begins within, and it begins with going deep into those deeper wounds. And some of the stuff that we've been sweeping under the rug and have maybe completely forgotten happened, as we start to go through this process, things will bubble up to the surface, and they'll come to the light. And the light is truth, because the truth is they've been there all along, and that's what's been holding us back. That's what's been even keeping us sick, perhaps, because a lot of this buried stuff manifests in physical dis-ease. Disease in the body is dis-ease. So these deeper traumas and wounds from the past, and they may not even be ours, this could be going back generations, but we typically, all of us do have our own personal wounds that we do need to heal. So hug that inner child, send them so much love, and then from there, question everything. Literally, question all of your beliefs. Question everything people out there are telling you. Question me. Absolutely question me. Question if what this girl is saying on this little live about truth and light and all of this weird stuff, is that true? I don't know. Doubt it all. Absolutely. Question it. Go through your process, go through your journey. And through that doubt and that disbelief, perhaps, you will have to surrender. You will have to trust. Because you'll have to keep taking steps as you go on this journey. You have to surrender to faith. And even when you're in doubt, again, that truth is always there. So eventually you will come to the light and see the truth. So yeah, I think that's what I have for today. It was a little bit messier than because these thoughts are still very new to me. So I hope this all resonates. I hope it makes sense. But I've just been getting downloads left and right, so I've been a little overwhelmed, honestly, and not related to this topic, like just left and right about all sorts of things, about the bigger truth of everything. But so thank you for tuning in, and I do hope that something clicked, that you got some nugget from this, because as I was writing these ideas down just before I came on, I got little like aha moments. So I really, really hope that, you know, a few of you out there get something like that, get something that you can use for your own journey. So thank you for joining, and just remember to always come back to your heart, because your heart is where your deepest wisdom lies. So that is where the truth lies. That is where your power lies, truly, your deeper sense of power. So thank you for joining, and I will be tuning in tomorrow, likely at 5 p.m. I'm aiming for 5 p.m. every day. So that's the goal, and I will be sharing more on, we'll see. I'm actually not sure yet. We'll see how tomorrow goes. There's a lot I have to integrate right now. So again, thank you. This is Amanda with this art called Life. Oh, and actually before I get off, just a quick little reminder. I talked about faith. Actually, maybe tomorrow I do have to talk about faith. There is a whole module in my course, Rise with Resilience, that talks about faith, and faith bigger than this idea of, we typically think, oh, my words right now. Faith and religion tend to be, they go hand in hand in a lot of people's minds, but I'm talking about a bigger perspective on faith that comes from within, faith that comes from above, that's bigger than religion, that is bigger than these 3D constructs that we have created. So I will be diving into that probably more tomorrow. We'll see. I think that sounds kind of aligned right now. But again, this is in my course, so tapping into faith is an extremely powerful practice to help you get through and to help build that inner resilience, to help you get up and bounce back no matter what, better than before, better than ever. So, I love this little phrase that came up for me earlier today: the better it gets, the better it gets. And that requires standing in your truth, trusting, having faith, and surrendering to the process. So I'm going to be talking into all of these ideas a little bit more. So please tune in if you are, interested in any of these ideas, and I will be sharing more over the next few weeks. So thank you, and I'm sending you so much love and light onward and upward, guys. See you tomorrow.